into action and taking control of our financial destiny. Very happy to have you all here as we get started today. Going to be talking about a number of things, going over some questions and learning a little bit more about what you can do to spring into action. So Laurel, as we get started today, and as everyone is joining us, whether on social media or our podcast, Royal Money Talks, what is one question about action you want to ask the people in the chat box?
So last week we talked about spring into action. We're going to go more thoroughly through the campaign. Some of you did it, a lot of you didn't. We need way more applications because this everyone gets to, I would say win, but earn the right. So what I want to know is in the last week, what did you do to spring into action that's like causing a result? Because I think one of the things we're going to talk about today is the strongest energy always wins. What did you do to create that energy of winning? So with that, Thomas, I'm going to have you explain the contest a minute. I'll be back in a second.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and put some screenshots up here as we have our spring into contest that we want to be talking about, sharing, and letting you all know how everyone can win. We changed it up this month to where the participation of everyone can result in everyone winning the quote-unquote big prize of what we're going to be doing. So, Steve, when you have them, let's go ahead and put those up there. The first piece is going to askloral.com/spring to opt in and start getting involved with our Spring into Action campaign. When you opt in, you will get a copy of the ebook, Yes Energy. This is one of Laurel's best sellers. Great opportunity for you to learn the proper mindset and what Laurel operates from on a daily basis. From there, if you take the next step, you share the screen and do the steps that are required of you after entering the contest, you will have the opportunity then to win and earn the Yes Energy Roadmap. And the Yes Energy Roadmap is a series of videos that further breaks down not only the power behind, but the action steps towards using and creating and capitalizing on Yes Energy within your life. From that point on, after you invite some friends and let them know about how they can also get involved with Yes Energy and changing their conversation about money, from there, you will be able to have an opportunity to fill out an application. Once completed, and once your suggested friends fill out the application at the same time, you then will be eligible and will win the access to the 100K Challenge module series, which is an incredible series of 39 videos showing you how to add 6 figures to your bottom line. And I want to stress this enough. This prize is such that once you complete the actions and one of your referrals completes the actions, you get access to this. It's not there's a raffle or a drawing for this. Everyone who completes the action wins that prize. So it's an incredible opportunity for everyone to get access to one of the best courses and one of the best education pieces that Laurel and the team have put together, because everyone out here, I think, would enjoy and benefit from greatly adding another 6 figures to your bottom line. Yep. So that's a little bit more about the Spring into Action campaign. Laurel, what else share your thoughts, or what else do you want to add on that?
Well, I think this was, I was going to say, I think this is one of our better campaigns. I say that every month because I just think we keep getting better and better. 2021 has been our campaign year. We've done themes before, but this year, from New Year to New You to the Love and Money Contract to the Luck versus Intention. We just keep stacking you full of things to not only win, but to keep you motivated. This year, our entire structure, right, from the graduate marketplace was designed that you got to pretty much be sleeping to not win this year, right? Really. So if you have questions about that and you don't feel like you're winning, there's got to be some piece of the puzzle you aren't putting into your life. Because you have 3 fast cash calls. Those of you who've been to the marketplace before or coming this week, this Thursday and Friday, 15th and 16th, we have 3 fast cash calls a week. Last week we had a graduate marketplace. How many? I don't think a lot actually showed up. How many actually showed up through the graduate marketplace last week? We have another one this week, and we have another one next week. So again, 3 graduate marketplaces. If even there's 15 or 20 people there, that's people you say, well, I've already sold to them. Sell to them again. So a lot of this is about your thinking and how you. Here's how I'm going to say it. Most of you find a way to find like what's not going to happen. versus find what is going to happen. Right? Yesterday I was having one of those days. I told my husband, I said, I'm having a no day and I'm the yes girl. So this isn't really working. So it happens to all of us. The difference is, does it keep you down or do you keep moving? And so between the campaigns, right? Between the campaigns, between the marketplace, between the grad marketplace, you got to be just not doing the tasks that we're asking you to do to not make this 2021 your year. And for a lot of you, it's a 6-figure year. You got to have a 6-figure year. So you have enough money to do the things we're talking about. You've got to be incorporated. So Eileen can help you get your SBA loans. Those are still in effect. So there's just a lot going on. It's just what's going on with you. So I want to read some of these, what did you do to spring into action? Bruce Barnes, is it the 100K course mentioned? Is the course mentioned? It's a 100K blueprint course. So let's show that slide. So what you're getting is the Yes Energy blueprint. So yes, there is a 7 is a better year. You're funny, John. Oh, you guys are funny. I had a no day. It wasn't because I had the no day. People around me had the no day, and I had to educate them why the hell they need to say yes. I got them to yes. I mean, yeah, today I'm having an amazing yes day again. And that kind of goes like this. Here's my ultimate closing. And John Howard, you know this about me. Yes is going to be the answer. Tell me the terms. So I went back to everybody last night when it was like a no, or again, seeing the problems before they see the solution was kind of how my morning went. And frustrating morning, took a break, but went away from all of it, went to the gym. Yep, I actually went to, I physically walked into a gym with all this broken body. It was awesome. Anyway, came back to it with a fresh attitude, fresh look, same as I'm telling you to do with Yes Energy. I'm telling you what I do. You just got to put it into play. And went back to the no people. And I said, it's going to be a yes, people. And my God, it's amazing when you reapproach somebody with a different energy and a different attitude, how that works. So back to other, so Rachel said, I refinanced a few more properties, bought some more. Rachel, when are you joining our community? Girl, you have been hanging out there stalking us. Sherry James, good. Got your database sent to your CRM. That is a massive task, Sherry. Well done. Massive task. And all of you, your database is one of the biggest assets you'll ever build. So super, super excited. All right. So the campaign goes like this. You're I'm just going to repeat it without any of the slides. You're going to sign up. Even if you have the book, sign up again. Get your friends and family to sign up. Get those people around you to sign up. Go slower down that, please. You're going way too fast. Way too fast. Okay, now go down slower. Why participate? Those are all the reasons, right, to participate. What you're going to win right now, you go down a little bit more. You're going to get the Yes book. You say, well, I already have it. Have you read it? What a novel concept. You need to read it. Then you're going to get the roadmap. The roadmap, I'm going to have you stop right there for a sec on the scroll, are 4 videos. And actually, Andrew created this campaign that created the campaign on Yes Energy. So when you bought the Yes Energy book when it launched in the 2012 era, we would go from a book launch to these 4 videos that now we call the Yes Energy Roadmap. And these 4 videos you would buy independently, and it would go from a $20 buyer to a $187 buyer. We're giving you all this for free by putting in an application. And you say, well, I've already applied, and you're going to get an interview. It's a different kind of an interview. It's more of a Yes Energy interview. And it's where else can we help you make 100,000? And there's not one of you that doesn't need an extra 100,000 somewhere in your life, whether it's the investing side of your passive income, whether it's adding I'm going to call it like a vertical. If you add, like John, if you add, management, which I know you don't want to do, but you may add financing. I know that's where John might be headed. Eileen, you might be headed to, a different, I don't know, some other thing we're going to work on. So the goal is that you get the roadmap. So the 100K roadmap then, so once you fill out the application and do an interview, your interview will be done by somebody that none of you have ever talked to before, by the way. I know for sure, because he's just back joining the team. So none of you have ever talked to John. So it'll be an assessment, you'll do an interview, and then you get to win. Actually, you just get the roadmap until you get a friend to do it. So somebody that has not been through our world, get a friend to do it, and you get the blueprint. The blueprint, I know we have $1,900, but I know we've also sold it for $3,000. The blueprint is the week by week by week, what do you have to do in 52 weeks? It has 39 videos. It has accompanying, like I said, blueprints, scripts, like everything you need to make 100 grand. Again, making this super simple for you all to get an extra 100 grand. So the interview and the assessment has to be done by two people, you and someone else. And as soon as your interview is done, you will click it through. John will say, yep, I've talked to them, and away they go. And I think that's good, right? Anything else for this minute?
On the contest, no, that's everything there. And again, I just want to stress the fact that we're not giving away 100K blueprint module series. We're giving them to everyone who completes all 3 steps of the contest. So understand that if 100 people do that, 100 people are going to get that video series. It's a little bit different than a raffle or a drawing, and really a great opportunity for everyone to participate and get access to some really amazing content and education.
Yep. And critical that you go back through and you do it. You say, well, I've already done some of it. And Rachel, you don't need to get your ducks in the row. Here's a problem when you say you got to get your ducks in the row, because you're getting the ducks in the row your way versus a way that can be done much faster and more streamlined. Because remember, without our coaching, you're doing it the same way you did it before. So the chances of a big breakthrough, or quite frankly, just a complete tangent, like a different direction than what you're doing, is available when you get here. So let's reconsider that. Rachel, apply, go talk to John, and we'll talk that through. So what we're going to do today is we're going to dig into that roadmap. So a lot of you I know, and you know what's so funny about this? Look at
the first one.
Original book. Yeah, well, we've been moving. We've had so much, moving out of the building. So a lot of we know we don't throw stuff away, especially my stuff. But this was the first book delivered to me when we launched the Yes Energy book. Interesting. So it's got a lot of good juju in it, that's all I'm saying. And no, John Howard and Eileen, you cannot have it. And it's dedicated to the Live Out Loud community. So there you go. All right. So when you get to the table of contents, I want you to go to really honoring your gifts. So we're going to talk about today is leveraging your libido. And I love that because a lot of you think, oh my God, that's sexual. No, libido is energy, right? It's a physical energy that lives within yourself. John's like, what? Goes to Laurel's museum. You'd be shocked at my books. Anyway, you guys stop teasing me out there in the chat. Some of you I just know so well. We're going to look at part 4. So when you look at the book, this is table of contents for those of you who haven't read a book in a long time. This is what it looks like. And if you go to part 4, we're looking to get the talent within. See, I believe you all, and you all have a gift. So let's put it in the chat. What is your gift? Mine is marketing, sales. You have usually 3 to 5 amazing gifts, right? 3 to 5 usually amazing gifts. Mine's marketing, mine's definitely sales, and then facilitating learning, meaning moving you along your learning journey, taking what I think are hard financial concepts. I think I make them pretty darn easy for you guys to just get and understand. So when you think about the gifts that you have, what are they? So put in the chat at least one of your 3 to 5 gifts. And everything else, by the way, folks, you need to be hiring. You say, well, I don't have enough money. You got to do your ask, tell, ask. See, this whole thing cycles back to you're going to have to break that code. You have to break that little barrier, whatever that is for you, to ask, tell, ask. You could all sell, like for John and Rachel, you guys could sell real estate reports, right? Jason, you now have your $20 insurance report to go sell a lot of that. Eileen, I love that you started with compassion. That's good. I know, Jean, but why you're here with no business roles as advocate, speaker, and teacher is to learn how to either put those people on your team or do a little bit of it. Great. Sherry James, problem solver with numbers. That's why you do bookkeeping. Awesome. So inside the book, when you get to chapters 10, 11, 12, so it's going to be a little like a reading room. What you're going to find inside of leveraging your libido is the physical energy of it. So we're going to go to page 135. Those of you who have your book sitting right next to you, which you should, because you should have all of this right next to you. Here's how I started, right? I said, I start the chapter with I love my libido. Some people might think that's embarrassing, but I live out loud. I say my truth. And most people associate and identify it with a sex drive. Your libido, interpreted by psychologists, is much, much more than that. It's a psychic and physical energy, and it's a drive. It's a source of energy that comes from your biological instinct. So it really goes back to fight and flight, right? If you go all the way back. So even in like a formal dictionary, it's derived from primitive biological urges expressed in conscious activity. So, you mean, it's how to unite and bind. So you guys know, like from what I do from the stage, I am living through that energy at all times. All of you have it. I would just challenge that you don't use it enough. And when I say there's another part of that whole chapter, which is, you know, the strongest energy wins. Some of you, I really want to challenge you to watch your language as you think through this. So first of all, let's go back to the libido energy and that energy all day. So like my energy is completely different than 24 hours ago when I went up, you know, for lunch and just took a break and went to the gym and just like left my, you know, no people energy world. Because a lot of you, you're going to get a no energy. You all get no's in your life. You're going to get, you know, walls put up, and it's up to you to lead through it. You have to be the one to have the stronger energy. One of the big phrases that we say in this is whoever has the strongest energy wins. So I know, for example, the project, and a lot of you do know some of the projects we're talking about, the commitment to the finish line is going to happen. It is not a no. It's a who's going to be on the team. And it's just there. No is not even an option. It's not even in the vocabulary. Are a lot of people going to tell me no's? Are cities and councilmen and whoever else going to tell me no? Yep. And then I'm going to continue to pursue with the strongest energy. So strongest energy, and some of the people on our team over there needs to listen too. Strongest energy isn't just dominant energy. Strong energy is certain energy. It has a lot of influence to it. It's not just an F you and it's my way. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about very influential problem solving, right? So if you look, you know, Sherry, you said, you know, yeah, you're problem solving. That can have a really strong energy. Why should somebody hire you as a bookkeeper? You have to come with that strong energy. Why should someone hire you, Eileen, to do your credit and your credit score, right? It's you. It's your driving. You are the best in class. Now, are you the best in class? I don't know. There's all sorts of interesting people out there. Some people who are, you know, Ramsey and Susie Orman lovers would say, oh my God, they're the best in class if you want to stay broke and never go into any good debt, which a lot of you are learning as you're coming to the table, that good debt kind of goes with getting rich. And using 0% money. Money is so cheap right now. It's amazingly cheap. And all of you can do it. So the premise of today's lessons is really to have you look back at what drives that energy for you, right? What gets you up regardless? What has you stand back up when you feel like you've been hit down? What is that for you? Like, you know, for me, it's taking a break. It's leaving it for a while. I always say time heals a lot. Time and just space. And not like talking space, like just leaving it for a little while has some perspective come into the space. And a lot of times that's one of your strongest positions. Not to ignore it. There's a big difference between ignoring and just saying, for the next hour or two, I'm going to leave that space. I'm not going to respond because I'm just going to leave it. And then the energy will shift, right? This is all the kind of that woo-woo stuff that I talk about. That's really, really true about how it works. But from you, I think the lesson for you is what drives that driven energy? Like what gets you up? What gets you motivated? I know some of you, like, what's the one thing that drives you and gets you up? Like for me, if I could only do one thing that kind of encapsulates my three big skill sets is deal making. I love negotiating deals. I love educating about the deal. I love influencing about the deal. Even if I get no, then instead of, you know, blame, I go back to myself and say, how do I need to reposture this? How do I need to come back to this conversation with a different energy, still strong energy? Like it isn't so much like in this bratty way, even though, you know, all of you know me well enough to know I'd say it, is I'm going to get my way. It's not that bratty. It has a little more thoughtful strategy behind it. Is I'm going to get my way because there's a greater good. And it's just not about me winning, right? It's about the team winning, right? So when I'm negotiating, depending on which seat I'm sitting in, I'm also negotiating in some of the situations I'm thinking of now as I'm talking about this for investors. I'm negotiating for partners. I'm negotiating for what is the greatest good, you know, whether it's for the community or for that project. So what is your thing that gets you up and drives you? So I would say mine is deal making, negotiating, which has a lot to do with influence in sales. Notice that's one big conversation. So what's a word that you would put in there? for all of you, right? Sherry says helping their clients, like it gets you up in the morning. So you get up, you start having a no day. What do you need to do, right? So whether it's, I mean, some of you go to the gym, go outside, take a walk. Is it refreshing with some, you know, different high energy food? Is it listening to music? Is it, you know, taking that time out, but not from a victim state in a blaming, but from a, I need to create some space. I'm going to go away from it and come back. What is it for you? Of course it is, Eileen. I could have said that for you. Watching and empowering others to be successful. So in that, Jason, I would say it's like it's a giving or a curious energy to support other people and getting off of your problem, support other people, right? Which is why masterminding is so powerful. Spending your time with dogs, right? So again, taking a break, snow skiing, water skiing. So you have to know this for yourself. You have to know what's the thing I'm going to go to regenerate the energy to get back to that strong position, especially when you are really, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Insistent, committed, that you're going to have whatever you're going for, right? Kyle and I are going to get this book launched with McGraw-Hill over the river, through the woods, and through a couple mountains. It seems like lately we are going to get this book done, and we're going to get out to all of you and your families and spend a lot of 2022 in legacy conversations about you and your family and this book. So it's going to happen. It's not like, you know, by now, I'd say a lot of people, wouldn't you, Thomas, because you've been in this forefront of this project with us, I'd say a lot of people would have given up and said, you know what, the hell with it. Let's just go back. We'll get the book together, self-publish it, and it is what it is. And we're not. We're going for high quality, and we're keeping it together. So that's, go ahead, Thomas.
I was just say absolutely, and that's so important. Why your why and what you talk about, Laurel, you know, at the workshops is so important, is because you have to be grounded towards what your end goal is to understand and be able to power through those instances when it becomes hard work, right? And if you don't have that why, if you don't have that clarity of purpose and vision, a lot of good projects get derailed because of that. And this is one of those examples. Laurel and Kyle know exactly what they want to do. They're powering through as you need to do in some of these situations, and the result will be well worth it. And so use that, everyone here, as an example on your own projects when you start to get that resistance or, you know, change of environment that inevitably tends to happen on whatever it is worth working towards.
Yep. And yes, Thomas, we'll put the link to the contest. So the contest name, actually, Steve, if you want to put the screen up so everybody visually sees it. Last week, we weren't quite ready. Remember, we had launch. Well, this is up and it's been running now. The other reason I want all of you to go through it, because I'm really noticing a lot of the names that are in here. I want you to go through it because you could take some out of our playbook. Notice, yes, we're recycling content, but we're redoing it in a very different way. We're putting a blueprint with the yes energy, and like we're putting all of that together into one campaign to spring into action. We have to help you get to 100 grand. If you don't get to 100 grand, it just gets rougher, right? It just gets rougher to do it. I want to answer some of the questions up above. Jason said, you know, great question. If you were in a funk state, would you call off the appointment? Ideally, you would have a teammate. So, you know, if I'm in a super funk state, I'll call it off. But typically, I won't do that. I'll get a teammate on. Either Thomas will come to a call, Chris will come to the call, Damon will come to the call, Steve will come to the call, Andrew. So I'll get a teammate to come to the call. You know, also because that alone can shift the energy and also shift your energy. There's also a more sophisticated technique. It's called compartmentalize. And I've talked about this in several of the books on how to compartmentalize. And when you compartmentalize, you don't ignore it. And I think a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to stuff it in a box and put it on a shelf, because you'll hear me say, just box it up and put it away. Not forever. And it's not an ignoring principle. It's a very strong mental. Tony Robbins probably teaches the best about that mental state. Because if it's the only shot you have, so for example, tomorrow at 11, Jason, we have a very significant meeting. It has to have every ounce of yes energy focused to coming out of that meeting with a yes. So that means preparing from when you get up to not putting, you know, meetings that could derail you in the morning, to keeping very focused on the significance of those meetings. To do the athletic, what I call the sports psychology stuff, you know, play the meeting in your mind, right? Know that you're going to get, you know, where you want to go, how you're going to control and direct. I mean, the meeting tomorrow, Jason, that we're going to be doing, And so it's with an investor, just so the rest of you understand the conversation. It's going to be a yes. We're going to walk out. I mean, right? If I could say, put the outcome, we're going to walk out with the deal, or we just have to go paper the terms. And I'm coming with that energy, and I'm going to come, even more data to that conversation than I need to. So that means between now and tomorrow, you be also protective of your energy, knowing that don't put things in the way that could derail you, right? And you know what some of those things are. But if it happens, there is not a chance I'm rescheduling that meeting. Not a chance. Just say at 10:40 something happens in the morning, that meeting's not moving. I don't care how funky my energy is. It's going to get compartmentalized. So a lot of times you either need to have somebody to go vent to, which I vent to, I'd say, one of 5 people on my team is either Thomas, Andrew, Steve, Damon, or Chris. One of them will get the, right, just to clear it. And it's not to ignore it. It's not going to go away in that minute, but you get the libido, that intense energy out of your space. So then you're more focused and clear mentally. And it's literally, for some of you, it's writing it down. Like Karen, I just saw, for you, you said titles, and you get creative. So for some of you, even journaling, like using those red journals that we've given you before, you got from us, and just, either venting in it, journaling about what you're pissed about or what you did wrong. Always start looking to what you, did to contribute to where it's, got derailed. And then you're going to close it, and you're going to show up fresh, say to that 11 o'clock meeting tomorrow. So compartmentalizing takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of practice to then not bleed the meeting before into the next meeting. All right. That's just practice. That's years and years of having significant ask to ask after significant ask to ask, and also changing topics. Right. A lot of times that's even more sophisticated. You're doing one project to another project, which is also why a lot of you need team. So you say, why do I need to get to 100 grand so you can hire more team? And it's not necessarily to do more. It's also to deepen what you're doing and how you're doing it. So the lessons really today are, what causes that urge, that libido, the positive side, the energetic side, to get up and move every day. Only you can control that. I'll give you one more technique. We talked about, venting just to somebody quickly and then getting on with it. Keep it really tight, like 2 to 3 minutes. This isn't a long 20-minute therapy session. This is, you're pretty much going to get, it out. And a lot of times, as you guys probably know, that I talk a lot. So for me, verbally, it's critical to get it out. Some of you journaling. The other thing too is to use the gap analysis, is remind yourself what you're getting up for, right? Where are you? What do you want? What's that gap? That should be motivating tension for you to get up and go. So again, lessons are what causes, what helps you manage and drive it, with the attitude and energy that yes is the answer. The strongest energy is going to always win. Here's when your energy gets weak. So I'll just kind of point to some places. You come to meetings, or you come to trainings, or you come to places without an agenda. Like you don't come with a plan. Like I'm always driving an agenda. The other part is when you collapse agendas. So, and there's a lot of you out here on the call where we have more than one relationship. You're not just in the big table. Some of you are also in head of the table. Some of you are joint venture partners. Some of you might own a company together. So the other thing is to be careful when you're coming into a meeting that you need to get something done and moved forward, that you're not collapsing a lot of other issues. Right? It's about one thing. You can talk about the other thing, a different call, but this call is about one thing. So maybe part of what's going on in your conversations is you're too chatty. You've got collapsed agendas. So what is really the outcome of this call? Because you brought up 5 things versus saying this call is about one thing. And just moving it. So this is like the mental side of great linguistics and great conversations and a great influence. There's a great book called Power versus Force. And I think a lot of you think I force a lot. I can tell you when I live completely in a better like power state, which is the strongest energy state, versus forcing. And when you force, because it typically the other side, it feels difficult. You feel like there's a wall there. So just notice if your timing's off, notice if it's your approach, but start taking responsibility for that conversation and start taking responsibility for your impact in what you're doing to move something forward. Now, this can be as small, and I'm going to say as small as your $10 ask tell ask. Some of you, you're starting them with like a Oh, it's like a diminishing comment, like, I'm just a beginner, I'm not very good at this. You start like, nobody wants to know that. They want to buy from success. They want to buy from confidence, right? So if you're Sherry, you say, you start an Ask Tell Ask. I'm an expert in bookkeeping. Where do you need help in bookkeeping? Tax season is this week. And actually it's extended to May. Did you know that? How can I help you with your books? How can I help you with your cash flow? How can I help you with your P&L? How can I help you with your balance sheet? What are your goals? Let's get on a phone call. 10 minutes, $10, $20. Notice I took command of that conversation the whole time. It wasn't like I'm stumbling around in there. So a lot of you, I could promise you, you're still not in enough shape. You aren't practicing enough to get in shape to have these conversations where your energy is the strongest. It does get to win. And you get to have more of what you want from a powerful place of having what you want. I'm going to check out the chat. Anything you want to add to that, Thomas? Clarity, confidence, conviction, you are correct. And like you said, Eileen, you vent to John. That's maybe okay on your money date, maybe. But typically your significant others and family and friends aren't the best to do that with. It's usually somebody that's, I'd say either on your team, just in a different role where they know that if you're going past 3 or 4 minutes, they're like, okay, I'm done listening to you bitch about something. Like, let's get on with it. Like, so it's a, so what, now what? So yes, they get to hear you because you got to kind of get out. So there is that the physicality of that energy that just has to get out. So you're freed up. So it can't just be shutting you down too soon, but you got to go.
Right. And to that point, Laura, I think a lot of people focus on the situation, not the emotion. Like Laurel said, if it's more than 3 minutes, you're spending way too much time on it, right? Focus on what you need to do to move forward versus getting stuck in more or less, wallowing around in the mud and the emotional feelings, because that's not helping you or your team move to where you want to be. Yes, it may not feel good, but as Laurel said, so what? Now what? Let's move forward.
Well, and I think a lot of you too, you do need to vent. The other person you can vent to, because our coaches are well trained to listen to you, are our coaches. And again, they're going to listen for a few minutes, because then you got to step back and say, so what am I going to do about it? And where's the path forward? Versus saying, oh, I got hit again and poor me. And, it's hard out there. Like that new slide we put into our marketplace that has the lion on it. It says something like, yes, I struggle every day, but I don't quit. It's that energy. Like, it's not quitting. It's not saying, like right now, I can tell you anybody in the construction space and the development space could easily be a victim and say the costs are out of control. They're 4 to 6x on a lot of the supplies. Your cost margins are different. So then you have to find different supplies. You got to find different suppliers. Like, it's just there's a constant, I'd say, stay in the state of creativity and figuring it out and problem solving. Then, oh, poor me. And I think just the world, plus, the narrative right now is the whole poor me narrative. So you just don't buy into the narrative. Like, you create the narrative of your life and your agenda. And so what's your narrative going to be? So between now and next week in the spring into action, what is something you're absolutely going to go get done? What's something this week that needs to get done, that will get done, because that's going to be our report in. So Thomas, keep track of that. That will be our question when we report in next week, is what was your spring into action? Like, what was it? What was your coming into, is it about getting a deal done? Is it about a conversation that needs to happen with somebody that you've been putting off? Is it a sale that just needed to get closed and you need to approach it differently? What is the thing you're going to say is going to occur this week that you're willing to put your little ass on the line and do it right now? So you can change your mind, but right now I want to make sure that you're all thinking that way. So what's the one thing that's going to get done? We are at April 13th by April 20th. What will get done? All right. So Kent says 2 new listings. Perfect. Very clear. All right. What else is going to get done? Right. Is there a certain amount of capital you got to raise? Is there an operating agreement that you've been putting off that you just got to roll up your sleeves and get into and get that done? What are the things that have to get done? Okay, who else? Ebook gets finished. Closing 997 sales, awesome. Right? Journaling. No, Rachel, you're going to have an interview with John, and that will get you unstuck. My only concern, and journaling can be a part of it. So I'm not saying you can't do some of that, but don't let that just keep the stuckness continued, right? Perfect. Reconnecting with 50 people. And Renata, go to the building, leading, protecting your business. It's in your Thinkific. So get out there and get that done. And again, Callie, all of that you're talking about is in building, leading, protecting. And you all will speak to John. John's the one doing the interviews off of the assessments. So go to askloral.com/spring, fill out your assessment, even if they're questions you've answered before. New teammate, and very masterful teammate. You will be highly impressed. So again, like I was saying, I want a lot of you, even though you've been through a lot of our processes, to go back through them, because you are correct, Eileen. Not only is the page layout great, the campaign is it's complicated from the standpoint is there 3 offers within it, from the book to the roadmap to now you bring a friend and you get a $2,000 gift, and you all get it. All you have to do is bring one person that's not in this community. John, go get Jeff and have him go through the application, and he'll get out to the interview. So all of you, find somebody not in the community to go through it with you, right? There's no obligation, no commitment. They don't have to buy anything or do anything other than go through the assessment and the interview. If they do something, they do something, right? Affiliate codes are all in play. So my point is it's well laid out. It's well thought through. It bonuses, everybody gets to win kind of a campaign. So those of you who need to start doing campaigns, which a lot of you need to start doing campaigns so you build a bigger list, so we can do that 6-figure summit. The reason we haven't really launched that 6-figure summit is in our assessment, which Thomas is one of our coaches of a lot of our folks, and just watching. We believe a lot of you need to use these campaigns and use a lot of those strategies, join a lot, get your databases moving, because it's your database that's going to fill up that summit. The 6-figure summit just isn't going to magically happen. So between now and through the summer, I think we'll really launch it in the summer. So between now and then, if you really want a 6-figure month, call it, which a lot of you can do. A lot of you have offers, you could do it, right? Rachel, you could easily do a 6-figure month. I mean, Eileen, for sure. We just need to do that as part of your hot. And Jean, we know you're getting ready. So I know where a lot of you are in your coaching and your kind of readiness to jump. But I can tell you getting ready for, call it a 6-figure summit, 6-figure month. For some of you, even a big 5-figure month, is you got to get this database and you got these campaigns. So even if you're just like watching, notice what happens when you sign up for something, what the thank you page does. Like really notice our programming and where it guides you. And this is all done through Keep, by the way. Those of you who have Keep, this is what's possible in your campaigns and database as well. Anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think we all got to be careful about the languaging that we're doing, right? And taking action is good, but you want it to be effective action, right? You don't want to work around or prep to or work towards getting something done. You want to get something done. So as you're writing, as you're sharing your statements here, as you're evaluating what it is you're doing, make sure you're working towards an effective action and not doing actions that work around it, if that makes sense, right? Laurel, you talk about, spinning your wheels, doing busy work, when reality is you got to get those results. And that's the important piece.
Yep. And so notice, like today, you want to start, this one's right now, like today, you want to start getting this goal. So the best way to do this, and we talked about this last month in the intention, I don't know if there's a link of all 5. Did all the 5 intention lessons get put together? I don't think we put them all together in a, are they out on the podcast? So they can go to the podcast.
All the Luck First Intention episodes are on the podcast thread. And I know we've talked internally about putting that together in a package offered through the Academy. That's not there yet, but everyone go to, and that's a good point, Laurel. Everyone needs to go to the Apple Podcast Store or Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, and make sure you're downloading all the episodes there. So that way you never miss an episode and can stay up to date, as well as go back, review some of the financial education we've shared in the past. So then that way you're getting everything quality through those sites and making sure you're not missing anything. So quick plug for checking out Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatnot, for those of you who are following us outside of the social media channels.
And you just download, it's Laurel's Real Money Talks, download it. And where I was going to refer you for today is go back to the intention lessons of self-management and future pacing. They should be pretty loudly, named and titled out there, because what I'm asking you to do is future pace. So a week from today at this exact time, we're going to be checking in. Did you do those things? We should actually screenshot it really quick, Steve and Andrew and Thomas. So like prioritizing activities, that's not enough. That's what you need to be doing every day. That becomes something you need to be doing the night before you go to bed. That's like your daily movement. I'm talking about getting a goal, right? So like Kent, what do you have to do 2 listings, right? So you probably need to go out and look like how many hours, like back into it, reverse engineer, right? We're going to ask you, did you get that goal? And a week from now, what has to happen the day before, the day before, the day before? Like you just can't wake up next Tuesday and say, oh shoot, Laurel's going to ask me about that thing and I didn't get it done. You need to go start getting it done today. So whatever you're doing today, future paces you for what your result's going to be by Tuesday, right? So if you say we're going to, I'm going to say raise capital, right? You need to at least put out a pretty broad net with the amount of people and the kinds of people who could maybe raise the capital from, and then start your phone calls tomorrow and get them the deck and whatever they're needing the next day and the next day. You for sure better get them whatever paperwork by Friday so they could wire by Monday, Tuesday. So really think through, like, what does it take to get the result? How many sell asks do you have to do to get the sale that you need to do, right? So really be backing into, and that's why I wanted to refer you back to those lessons of future pacing and self-management are what you need to enact today to make sure that goal hits, and then start checking things off. The business plan, here's how I'd coach you to go through our business plan. You go through it once, and where you get stuck, you just put red ink, come back, right? Just come back to it and just go through the whole thing once. It takes about 4 hours to go thoroughly through it. Then the next few days, you can go back and fill it in and fill it in and fill it in. So you make sure by next Tuesday, it's done. Not like I took a big, nice, chunk of it away. I got it done. So notice again, effective action creates completed action. And a lot of you aren't getting to completed action fast enough. All right. Yes, you got to get better being specific. Tomorrow's a day for money, legal. Oh, so she's, Anita's giving us our signs. So I love that tomorrow's like, what a great day. All of those things I'm involved in. So tomorrow will be an amazing yes day. What do you do to overcome discouragement? You got to dig deep for that yes energy. So it's either to your accountability partners. It's, again, back to what's going to cause you to get in state. I have every reason 14 weeks and 2 days in to be completely discouraged about my physical state and not being further along. It is what it is. I still get up and I go to, I go to the gym. I'm pushing myself more, probably more than I need to. Listening to music. I got a great circle around me who's constantly positive. You got to put those things in play. You got to put the people in play. You got to put the things in play. Again, whether it's outdoor skiing, music, what can change your state? Those are things that you've got to put in place in your life to have a self-reassurance. It's confidence. And how do you get confidence? Evidence. How do you get evidence? Continue to practice what we're doing. So in our world, evidence is money in the bank. Evidence is you getting done things in our wealth building and our money conversation. So you can continue to check those boxes. All right. So we're going to leave that lesson for now. We're going to pick it up next week right here. And again, I don't know if you guys could screenshot that, but it'd be nice for us to put it back up and say, y'all said you did this. You can change your mind as you get into the week, but not too far into the week. It takes some time to get things done. So part of you maturing as a wealth builder and entrepreneur is knowing what it takes to get things done, right? Versus just keeping a big list. What does it take to get done X or get done Y? Like, what does it take? And then using your resources. Like Thomas was on a call. He knows about one operating agreement, but I have 3 operating agreements that got to get done by tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So I will have initial calls, right? So what does that take? Well, I got to have initial call with Scott. We've got to set up initial calls with the partners, and we've got to block some time to get through it. So what does it take? You got to know what it takes to get there. So with that, Thomas, let's switch gears. Are they always posted on Facebook group MIT? Okay, you're answering the recordings. Yes, they are all on MIT, always from here. And then the good ones, when we go into some sequences, like the month of March, we did 5 lessons in intention. And like Thomas said, we'll probably make that a product. This month, we're not recording any of this into a product. The recordings that will independently be up there. But we're not putting this out into the podcast world. This month, we're not. We're giving it a little break because we got to air things like Bob Proctor. So if you have not listened to our podcast with Bob Proctor, it was a 2-part series. It went out on the 2nd and the 9th. Correct, Thomas? Went on the 2nd and the 9th. Amazing hour with Bob and I. And the podcast, we'd like you to go through the App Store. Go download a podcast. It's called Laurel's Real Money Talks. You can get it on our integrated wealth systems, but it doesn't count to my my downloads. So if you're not through an app store, then we can't count your downloads because you're just getting links from us. So ideally, say there was a question, just go out to your app store, download a podcast and put it on your phone. So it gets counted on my downloads. Otherwise, if we just send you to our links, it doesn't count. And yes, it worked with Android. Absolutely. So just go to your app store. Facebook group, Millionaires in Training, is where all of this, ever since we started, tomorrow will be 1 year from our first marketplace. April 14th was our first marketplace. We spent our first month from March 11th till now, 5 days a week during COVID. In fact, I think we even did 7 days a week when it all hit. And I know Eileen, we were all on the front line going, frontline strategists, helping people figure out what to do. Unfortunately, I think the aftermath of those who didn't do it right is still coming. I think there will be a huge slew of foreclosures. I think there's going to be all sorts of mortgage credit. I don't know, Eileen, if you want to pop in here live. I think the aftermath of those who didn't do those first months accurately around their business or finance strategy haven't even felt the effects yet. And a lot of you who did get SBA loans, by the way, you have to pay them back. Only part of PPPs are forgivable. So it's critical. It's critical. So we're at a year anniversary of when we started going live on our marketplace to help people. What's the app for the podcast? So Thomas, you want to put that up? So let's just go to any app store and go to the podcast. Thomas is working. I want to be listed up on iHeartRadio under their podcast. And I also want to get listed under Sirius XM, and I'm already on, and Spotify. Those are our 3 we're going for. So go download on your iPhone. Go to the App Store now and download. All right. So while you guys are doing that, Steve, capture their commitments so we can come back to them next week. Also, let's put this out broader. Could you all bring a friend next week? Let's get more people on these calls. We're seeming to get the same consistent group. Again, why our campaigns are invite a friend, invite a friend. Let's do a few Ask Laurel questions. So AskLaurel.com is still live for questions. Anytime you have a question, put it in, and our team will either call you or we're going to come live here and answer them on this broadcast.
So the first question that we have through AskLaurel.com, selected these as part of the Spring into Action theme. So all these questions are going to be asking about action steps that people can take. So the first question we have for Jeremy, he asks, what is the first step to take if I want to make money?
First step, if you want to make money, get to our marketplace. There's a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to have you answer in the chat there, Thomas, how to get to and hire Laurel. So I'll have you answer what to do once they get to the App Store and kind of type in a little SOP for people. That's the standard operating procedure, by the way. So if you want to make money, you got to sell something. Let's be honest. Like, you want to make money, you go get a job, right? But we're not listening to Susie Orman or Dave Ramsey or Dave Bach. You're listening to me, which means you got to go sell something. So what's a product or service? And I can tell you what's right here is your fastest path to cash. Is you all have expertise, you all have something that you could sell. And you say, well, I don't really want to trade time for money. I'm not asking you to do this all the time. Like, I'll do it a lot of times just to stay in practice, stay in shape. I'm like, this is the last kind of period of time I'm going to be continuing to take some head of the table clients. And then that's it. When my birth month comes in June, it's over. We'll have our team. I'll still be in strategy sessions, but I'm not taking any more clients as of my birthday in June. Not for a while. I'm going to take a little sabbatical, and I have a ton of clients that also just need continued fulfillment. But why am I sharing that piece is a lot of you need to sell something. So would I, on any occasion, sell 20 minutes for $100, $250, $300 of my time? Depends. Depends on the person, depends on if there's a bigger upside. I did it before. I can tell you those who were just out at the big table, that's how Brad happened. Those of you who met Brad and Clint, those happened through somebody else I met on an airplane who referred me and introduced me. And it was, 20 minutes for a $20 book or 20 minutes for a quick talk for $20, the best $20 I ever made, because that $20 is now growing into one extraordinary joint venture. So a lot of you don't think of it as the thing you're going to be selling forever and ever, but if you needed to, and you had to make money, to Jeremy's question, how do you make money? You sell something, right? And you sell something that's quick, easy, simple, not complicated to fulfill, just get in the mode of selling. Last week, we talked about this 10. In fact, Thomas, I'd like you to come live at 3:45. I know it's a rough time, but it's only 10 minutes with Mel. We're going to record her. She has done what I call the 10-day challenge now. She's on day 25 or 26, or it could be 28. She's made money every day but 2 days. And she knows exactly what happened. We're going to talk to her and interview her about why those fell down. And as we head into May, you know what's coming. I want you to get in shape. So we're going to have a get in shape May month of making money every day. And I don't care what it is. You can abandon your funnel. You can sell, simple things, 20 minutes for $10. I don't care what it is. You could sell this little coffee cup. You could sell, sell my game, sell, whatever you want to sell. You could sell your friend a book, be an affiliate, get your book, your friend to go through this assessment and interview. If your friend buys anything, be an affiliate, that would make you money. So there'll be some very intentional activities coming as we reach the month of May. But today at 3:45, we're going to interview somebody who is going on, I don't know if it's 23 out of 25 days of making money every day. And that's how out of in shape you guys got to get, which means you have to ask for the money. So come up with a product or service, you can be an affiliate, sell something to someone, collect the cash. And it's going to be really fun. And we're going to have a lot of fun selling all sorts of stuff. We'll sell each other stuff. All right, another question, Thomas.
Mary said, I feel like I don't have enough time during the day. What would you recommend I do to have more time to work on my business?
Hire a team. Get rid of your home help. So if you're going to work on your business, you need to be, again, in that state, not wandering around your house saying, oh, I need to do a load of laundry. Oh, I should food prep for tonight. I should get out something for dinner. Like, none of those are your tasks when you really, or you just time block them. You say, I'll do those first thing in the morning or a certain time, and you time block without interruption. Right. And so a lot of you, you're going to have to train your family. If you work at home and you have your kids home, you're going to have to train them how your new parent behaves. I grew up like this with my kids. So we had strategies, simple things like my kids know when I'm like this, they don't interrupt. They, like when they were little, they would just come up and they put their hand on my arm, right? They just do like this, which means they need something, but they do not come up and wah, 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 and interrupt. So they come up, they are conditioned to do it, right? Mommy, daddy, whatever's in the middle of something. So when you hear me talking, especially if I'm talking to the screen or, clearly, if I'm on stage, my kids would never run to the front of the stage. Actually, every once in a while, Tristan liked hanging out up there. She was kind of the social bug. She would just come up, but I always have an extra chair if she was with me, just in case, because she would just come up and she'd just sit down for a little while and then she'd leave. And I always have, a nanny or some help in the room. Or sometimes I did travel with nanny and my staff knew that was their extra job that time to take care of Tristan. So a lot of you've got to do some training because your family, your kids, that household of yours is probably consuming the time that you need to get to work. And you say, well, I can't afford it. Go make the money. This is a constant cycle. It's a very consistent conversation if you're noticing. So let's go to another question.
Juan asked, what kind of entity do I need and how should I set it up?
So that depends on where you live, what you want, what your launch pad is. There's a woman that, I met on Clubhouse who needs 3 entities. She thinks she needs 1. She's going to blow it later. It's going to cost her 3 times the money. I want to send her this recording and she'll know I'm talking to her. So that's an assessment with Scott. For the most part, I'd say most beginners start with either an LLC or an S Corp. I can give you that much. To what state you're in and how that's taxed is up to Scott. And if you want to put in Scott's link, you can get on his Calendly link and set up an appointment with Scott, and he will help you figure that out. One more question, and we're already at the top of the hour. This hour is zoomed.
All right, last question we have here. Lisa asks, What is a wealth account, and what are the kinds of things I should look at? I don't know if that she means.
Yeah.
I don't know if Lisa means money rules or whatnot, but you talk about a wealth account and speak to that a little bit.
So a wealth account is the place you're going to put your money while you're saving up. I hate that word, but accumulating is a better word. Money for alternative investments. A lot of alternative investments are 25,000 minimum, 50,000 minimum, 100,000 minimum. So while you're, putting 25 away, say you can only do 5,000 a month, 5,000 a month, somewhere that, 25 needs to stand. Now, Jason, if you would like to, Jason, this is a perfect marketing for you. You can put in an insurance policy, take it back out later, the kind that Jason sells. You could put it in Flip Wall Street, right? Well, it's actually making money in the market while you're putting money together to go then buy, say, do a construction loan with Justin or buy some equity into an apartment with Tim, or Justin and Tim reverse. So depends what you want to do. But wealth account is a place where you're accumulating the money to get ready to invest into another project. So it's that accumulation account, right? It is an investing account. At the simplest form, it's a money market account. Obviously, we all love Flip Wall Street, so we would use Flip, we'd use insurance as our key primary places where you would store some cash while you're getting ready for a bigger opportunity. All right. Yep. So again, go to Ask Laurel, ask questions. We will continue to put more questions in this. Kent says he's not finding it on
right. So there's been some confusion about this. Laurel's Real Money Talks is a podcast. Download any one of the most widely used podcast players. From there, you'll be able to find Laurel's Real Money Talks, whether it's the Apple Podcast tool, Spotify, Stitcher, whatnot, and then you'll be able to listen to it accordingly. So for all you, just go ahead, download a podcast player, search for Laurel's Real Money Talks, and you'll be able to go from there. Laurel, follow up real quick to that wealth account. Someone asked, at what point should I start to allocate money to an asset? Is it when you have 20K, 50K in the bank? I'm struggling to jump into it.
Right away. That's your biggest mistake. You're allocating more toward your debt than you are to assets. So even if you have 100, 200, get your kids to start doing this, where they're putting money away. And even if it's small amounts, you put money away, right? So like in our world, our kids would typically have Roth IRAs, checking and savings accounts, or car accounts. So you'd start putting money away as the behavior pattern to putting money away. So that is the true pay yourself first into a wealth account. Then you worry about your debt later. Yes, you want to handle your minimums, be responsible. Eileen, I don't know if you, but use the 194, where you're paying down one card at a time. Make sure we're all using that model. It's the fastest way to pay down your debt. And over time, it doesn't matter. If you owe people for the next 4 or 5 years, who cares? If you're putting money away for the next 4 or 5 years, you're going to get wealthy. Yeah, you're worrying about paying other people that more than yourself. It's this most crazy pattern that I see with most people. One thing I just want to say, what Renata said, you work during the night, sleep during the day. I would compartmentalize your days into blocks. 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, 8 hours, right? So you've got some time where you still have time to work on your business. So even 2 and 3 hour chunks is enough time to work on a business. Now, is it a big sophisticated business? No, but could it be something extra that you're doing? And the other thing for a lot of you that have, big jobs, I'd say, or even families, like I have some couples that I'm coaching right now where they each want to do something, but neither of them ever run a company. I would say, let's pick the fastest, easiest one. Like John and Eileen are like that, right? John's still got a big job. Should probably keep that big job for now, not because they need the money, because of the benefits coming. But like John's helping Eileen grow their company, right? I think John, you and some of even your family members are helping grow the insurance company. So if you're an early entrepreneur, or just for the sake of resources, and I'm not talking money as resources, I'm talking time, energy, database, build, all of it, build one together. And then after you have one going well into 6 figures, then separate out. But I think a lot of times families separate way too fast, and you've got scattered energy versus really building momentum of energy. So we're well over time. This will be posted in the Millionaires in Training. Steve, who's out there listening, make sure our team knows to be reposting this, not only in MIT, put it on the big table, put it on the 100K. Let's get our spring challenge, spring into action out. And we're going to be posting more and more Facebook ads to this. Our goal is, I'm going to say a minimum of 1,000 new leads to our database through this campaign in April. So that for us is you'll be watching us turn up Facebook ads, turn up the program, and get a lot of people. And what we want is exactly where we direct it. We want them to have yes energy, and we want them to have the 100K blueprint, and get them geared towards making money. So have a good week. We'll be back 12 noon. Please, if you are an affiliate, you can always replay this out to your list and say, this is what you got to come and why you need to be here on Tuesdays at noon. And any of them that continue through, you will get paid. All right. Take care. Have an amazing Tuesday. And those of you at the big table, we'll talk at 4 o'clock on the laser call. Cheers.